Welcome to another live reaction, the third week of Sarazanmai. Things are weird as ever, and I just want to acknowledge that I did a little boo-boo last week. You know, I didn't look at the end credit scene of episode 2. I didn't know there was an end credit scene. I think I skipped the first one of episode 1 as well. So to just talk about that for a little bit, I watched it after a commenter mentioned it, and it was insane, obviously, as most things in this show are. And we kind of knew that that was going to happen because the secret in the other kid's box was that he had a little soccer band that he bought for his friend, and we kind of glommed onto what that meant based on how they treated it, and we kind of assumed that he had some affection for the main character, but I didn't know they were going to go so direct. And what ended up happening was, for those who didn't see it or those who don't remember, is that the main character is asleep in his Sara outfit, and this yellow-haired boy just goes and steals a little kiss from him when he's lying down. And if this is pretty scandalous. I've already mentioned that this show is really all about alternate sexualities and everything like that, which Japan really doesn't talk about as much as they maybe should in the current age. And just to have a show like that's being broadcast on TV show something like that in the first 2 episodes is kind of insane. I'm glad that they did that. I really think that now that that's happened, we're going to see a lot more fun stuff in the 3rd episode, because if you remember, the first episode was about the main character's secrets. The 2nd episode was about the blue-haired boy's secrets. The 3rd episode, I'm assuming, is going to be about this kid's secrets. So without further ado, let's look at episode 3. Another pun-based joke. There's a lot of them in this show. So, first of all, just to put it off right off the bat, he said it just straight up. There's no ambiguity to what he said. He just said, I have a crush on Kazuki. We just have to accept that, right? There's no baiting going on here. And he did just kiss him when he was unconscious. It looked to me like he didn't notice. But I guess in the box scene in this episode, we're going to see that maybe he did notice. And maybe we'll get his reaction to it. Because even though the secret scenes have been kind of like centered on characters other than Kazuki, they kind of have dealt with his frame of reference. Like, they do still address things that happened to him first, because he is the main character after all. I also want to mention that this kid's house is like the most like religiously themed house. Like, you can have Americana, right? This is like Asakusa Ana. Like, it just has all manner of things just randomly strewn about his house. And I just think it's such an eclectic decoration style that it's worth mentioning. The lucky item of the day is a kiss. Is that coincidence? Definitely not. Okay, let's see what happens. So we finally learn what it is that he actually bought from Kapazan, and it's a promise ring. Okay, let's see how that goes over when he gives it to him. This is kind of the weird part of what he's doing, right? So even though he's dressing up like this idol and sending his little brother pictures and stuff, at the end of the day, his little brother still thinks that he doesn't talk to him at all, which is not something he's considered. He doesn't even talk to him when he's home. And he seems to like really miss that connection that they used to have when they were little. So I guess that's going to be something that we have to look forward to in the future, is when they reconcile to some degree, because I don't think this is sustainable where he's just sending him pictures. And while it is nice that he's doing that, I think his little brother would prefer that he just talk to him just plain straight out without any like other way of doing it. I guess her boyfriend is the one that's being possessed this episode. He's gonna be a giant fish when we do the Sarazanmai stuff, mark my words. This is a dream sequence, calling you already. I mean, it's obvious, but still. I mean, this is a creative way of pointing out the conflict that's happening here by having these outside students come in and like just poke fun at his like one weak spot. It's better than having him just say it himself, right? It's him talk to himself like, oh, he already said that. But we need him to act in some way, so to have someone else come and poke him to do it is, I think, more interesting than, some other way of doing it, like him just getting angry, which out of nowhere. This is a much better way of doing it. Oh, yikes, I guess her boyfriend's dead. So in this episode, there's kiss like kiss, there's kiss like fish, there's kiss like this dude, And also, it's weird that they go to a school named Sarah Middle School. I don't know what any of these like connections mean, but clearly they're intended. I guess the police people are gonna have a number every episode too. This is such a weird and unique show that it kind of just blows my mind that it exists sometimes. We get 2 musical numbers per episode. One involving 2 police officers dancing in a mysterious headquarters, and the other involving 3 frog boys dancing in a spiritual underworld? I don't know, it's so weird. Also, I'm a big fan of this Japanese percussion. I know you can't hear the music, but I'm just saying I'm a big fan of this Japanese percussion. And just the music in the whole show has been great so far. The music when he starts dreaming about Kazuki is like just so like cheesy and dramatic. It's perfect. I guess he's gonna use the dish to wish that Kazuki plays soccer again. And we don't really know why Koji wants the dishes. We know why Kazuki wants the dishes. I'm gonna be interested to see who actually gets it when they get one, because they have to do 5 missions to get one, right? Yeah. This is still the most stylish transformation sequence I've ever seen in my entire life. I don't know how they managed to pull it out with every episode. It makes me laugh again and again, but it's really good. Anta's in the middle this time. Yeah, even though last episode was technically Koji's episode, Kazuki was still in the middle, but this time Anta's in the middle, so I'm that's a thing. And the words are the same, but they have a different meaning again, because remember the first time we heard it, we thought there was a girl that he liked. Second time we knew it was his brother. This time it's Enta, and we know he just kissed Kazuki at the beginning of this episode. Are they going to use the same words the whole time and have them mean a different thing every episode? Because then I'm just going to... My brain is going to literally explode. Isn't it kind of funny that he's like reciting like traditional monogamous propaganda when he's taking a bead of desire out of a fish dude's butt? I'm just saying. The irony is everywhere. I still think this is one of the best ways to visualize a secret in the world. Like, it's freaking nuts that they do this, because when we go into his mouth, it's like, it's so visual and we can see both things happening at the same time, and the animation of the red part is so good, like so emotional. It's nuts how well the show looks. Like how good the show looks, it's insane. Okay, what is it with the otters? They make all kinds of otter puns. The otters show up every time these people sing a song. Is the otter like the city mascot of Asakusa or something? Something like mundane like that? Because they show up everywhere in this show, and I don't know why it happens that way. I feel like we're going to learn at some point. And also all these people who are like disappearing, who die, they all die before they get like Shiriko Dama'd by the frog boys. Are they all related in some way? Is the way that they die going to come back at the end? This is a pretty short run of a show, so we're going to find out soon, but I'm still extremely curious because there's still so much we don't know. Also, this is the first time we've seen these police people talk to their boss. We've seen headquarters before, but this is the first time we've seen the police people talk to their boss. And he seems to say, like, it seems like the police are on the opposite side of whatever the boys are doing. So I guess these are the villains, which would, it's broadcast by the red and the black and the kind of dark aesthetic and everything, but they do a weird dance number every time, so I don't know when villains would do that. It's just interesting to see that these are like the bad guys, even though they're so weirdly flamboyant. It was a dare, right? It was a double dog, triple dog dare, right? You didn't do that like by yourself or anything. This is actually the first time that someone's been expressing themselves purely for who they are. Like, when Kazuki dresses up, he does it to send pictures to his little brother. When Koji like steals cars or whatever, he's doing it to please his older brother. But Enta is just doing it because he likes Kazuki, right? Nobody else told him to do it. So this is the first secret that's like a legitimate self-expression secret, which I think is cool. Oh boy. Is this the first for... No, maybe not. I feel like they've had more confessions than kisses in this vein. But just how desperately in love with him he is, it's just insane. I'm glad they skipped straight to that and didn't have any like messing around, because clearly they're trying to make a point here. It's so sad that this doesn't happen. Like, this is the dream sequence and he's going to say the opposite in a minute, but like, let's just hold on this for a second. And what if Enta had gotten what he wanted, right? It would have been so nice, but obviously it's not going to happen. So that was episode 3. And the kind of reveal at the end of this episode is that Haruka is actually in a wheelchair, which we've never been shown before. First time that we're being shown that. So I guess that's what they're going to go into next episode, right? And just the way that they picked these topics. So check it out. The first episode was about cross-dressing. The second episode is about crime, or like kind of the underground. He's growing weed. We've never seen weed in a Japanese show before. The third episode is about him kissing his best friend. Homosexuality, not something that's really addressed, kind of like skirted over, not really dealt with straightforwardly. And even this I thought was a little bit more glancing than maybe a Western writer would have treated it. But I think this is like a lot of progress for Japan. The fourth episode looks to be about people in wheelchairs. I don't know. We don't know yet. We can't guess. I really like this topic that they've gone for. There's so much mystery just surrounding like the stuff surrounding the main story, like the police and the weird otters and Azuma Sara, and everything is called Sara. I don't know why. There's probably some like region specific reason for that. I don't really even know what to say anymore, because this show is just consistently good over 3 episodes so far. And it seems to me like there are a bunch of people who do watch it, but it's not getting the mainstream attention that maybe you would expect a show like this to get. The breakout hit of the season definitely seems to be One Punch Man, Attack on Titan Season 3, Kimetsu no Yaiba, all those other shows. But I feel like this is the sleeper hit of the season that really no one is talking about. When I checked AniChart, it had like a 68% rating, which is completely bonkers to me, because there's so much just thematically just to look at in the show. Forget the great art, forget like the good dialogue and the great voice acting and the great music and everything. Just with the themes, there's so much to talk about that it feels weird to give a show like this such a low rating. And it may be because not many people watched it or got put off by, I don't know how else to put it, the weirdness. It's a little bit weird. And if weird is not your aesthetic, you may not like it. Or if like you don't like seeing people turn into frog boys, which, come on, why would you not? That transformation sequence is so good. I don't really know what else to say other than watch the show, please, if you're not already watching it. I'm really looking forward to episode 4, because it seems like at the end of every episode they tease what they're going to talk about next episode, and next episode looks pretty promising if we're going to talk about Haruka and his relationship with Kazuki, which is something which has been hinted at is not the best, and that's why he started doing this whole sending selfies to his brother thing. And I think it may even come out that he knew that it was his brother that was sending it the whole time. That might be the best reveal that they could do, because it would mean that he just liked it that his brother did it for him instead of thinking of it as Azuma Sara sending it to him. That might be an emotionally resonant way to do that. I don't know if they're going to do that, but hey, we're going to find out next Thursday, right? So thank you for watching. That's it for this week. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I'll see you in the next episode.